Welcome to your sleep story. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Whatever this day was, however long it felt, however much it carried, it is behind you now, completely behind you. You made it through, and that is everything. So let's begin. Before I take you anywhere tonight, I want to count you down from 10 to 1. And as I count, I want you to allow yourself to sink just a little deeper into wherever you are right now. Feel the weight of your body. Feel what is beneath you, holding you. And with each number, just let go a little more. 10. Allow your eyes to close. Gently, completely. There is nothing you need to see right now. 9. Feel your shoulders and let them drop as far as they want to go. 8. A slow breath in through the nose. 7. And all the way out. 6. Your hands. Feel them opening. Whatever you've been holding today, you can put it down now. 5. Your jaw is soft. Your face is soft. 4. Your legs are heavy, warm. 3. You're drifting, not asleep yet, but moving that way. 2. The day is behind you, completely and entirely behind you. 1. And now, tonight's sleep story, the relaxation. Before we go anywhere, I want to stay here with you for a moment. Just here, just now, because this moment, this exact moment right now, where you are lying in the quiet, deserves a little attention, a little kindness. Take a breath in for me, from the very bottom of the belly. Good, and let it go. And as you breathe out, I want you to imagine that everything you were carrying today, every worry, every unfinished thought, every heavy thing is just leaving with that breath, just drifting away. You don't have to solve anything tonight. You don't have to figure anything out. You don't have to be anything other than exactly what you are right now. A person who deserves rest. A person who deserves sleep. Because you do. You really do. Whatever happened today, whatever was hard, whatever felt heavy, you made it through. You are here. And that is enough. That is more than enough. You are safe. And you are here. Bring your awareness gently to your feet now. Just notice them and allow them to soften. The toes uncurling, the arches releasing. All the small held tension of the day simply letting go. Let that softness travel upward, through the calves, through the knees, the thighs. All of it warm, all of it heavy, all of it resting now. Your lower back, your hips. Allow yourself to feel the surface beneath you taking your weight completely, fully. You don't have to hold yourself up anymore. The bed has you. The water has you. The belly soft. The chest soft. The heart beating steadily as it always has, as it always will. Your shoulders dropping, your arms heavy and warm, your hands open and still, the neck long and loose, and your face, let the jaw go. Let the forehead smooth. Let the eyes be completely still behind their lids. There you are, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, completely soft, completely warm, completely at rest. have done beautifully. Now, let me take you somewhere the world is flat, and the sky is enormous, and the water runs through everything, and the evening light on the canal is the most beautiful light you have ever seen. Come with me. The canal. Imagine a canal. Not a river, a canal. The difference matters. A river finds its own way. A canal was made, dug by hand, by thousands of hands, over centuries. The earth moved, and the water directed, and the whole landscape reshaped by people who understood that in this flat country, the water needed managing, or it would manage them. The Dutch canals, running straight, then turning, then straight again. The geometry of them deliberate, the straight sections, and the precise angles of the turns reflecting the engineering minds that designed them. The practical minds of people who have been living with water for 1,000 years and have learned to think like water. The canal this evening is still, or nearly still. There is always some movement. The water is never entirely at rest. There is always the slight current, the compensation for the lock that opened somewhere to the south an hour ago. The residual movement from the last barge that passed in the afternoon, but nearly still, the surface of it reflecting the sky, and the sky this evening. Oh, the sky this evening over the Dutch countryside is doing what the Dutch sky always does in the late afternoon of a clear day, performing. There is no other word for it. The clouds arranged as if by someone who understood the effect they were creating. The light coming under them from the west, finding the underside of the clouds and making them gold and pink and the deep blue of shadow. The Dutch painters knew this sky. They spent their lives trying to capture it. Tonight it is yours. The boat, a canal boat, not large, a teejalk, the traditional Dutch flat-bottomed sailing barge, its hull wide and shallow, designed for the shallow waters of the Dutch canals and polders. This one is not a working barge, not anymore. She was converted long ago to a pleasure boat, her hold turned into a cabin and a galley and a sleeping area, her hatch replaced with windows, her deck cleared for sitting. Her hull is dark green. The color has been on her for many years. You can see it in the depth of it, the layers of it. The paint not new, but not neglected. Her name is painted on the bow. De Rose. The rest. She is tied to the canal bank at the moment, to the iron ring set into the bank, the ring old and slightly rusted, the rope around it, the rope of someone who knows how to tie a boat. You step aboard. The boat moves, very slightly, the hull adjusting, the water shifting under her to accommodate you. The same slight motion as the boat called patience on the river. The water acknowledging you. You sit on the forward deck, the canal ahead, the sky above, the evening beginning, setting off, the engine, not a dramatic engine, a small diesel, 4 cylinders, its sound low and unhurried, the sound of a working engine that has no intention of working hard, a cruising sound, a sound for slow movement through still water. It starts. The boat moves forward, not quickly, slowly. The speed of a canal boat is the speed of a canal, which is the speed that the canal was built for, the speed that does not erode the banks, the speed that was agreed centuries ago and has not changed. Walking pace, not quite walking pace, slightly faster, 4 kilometers per hour, perhaps 5, barely moving by the standards of any other kind of travel, and yet moving, the bow cutting the water very gently, the small bow wave spreading outward from both sides, reaching the canal bank and reflecting back, the ripples crossing each other in the water behind you, the canal bank passing slowly, the reeds at the bank's edge tall, their seed heads brown and full, their reflections in the canal water below, the willows leaning over the water in places, their trailing branches touching the surface, the grass of the polder beyond the bank, flat, very green, the Dutch green that is so saturated with moisture, and with the diffuse light of this sky that it seems to glow, moving slowly through all of this. WLLEM. His name is Willem. He is at the tiller, 66 years old, born 20 kilometers from here, in a town on a larger canal, the son of a barge captain and the grandson of another. He has been on Dutch water his whole life, not always this canal, not always this boat, but always water. He bought De Rust 11 years ago. His wife Anne said, when he told her what he wanted to do, what he wanted the retirement to look like, she said, of course, as if she had known. She probably had known. She knows him. They have been together for 42 years. She is below now, in the galley, the small galley at the bow of the converted hold, making something. You can hear the small sounds of it. A pot. The smell of it finding its way up through the open hatch. Something with onions. Something slow. Something that has been cooking since they left the last town 2 hours ago. Willem at the tiller. He doesn't say much. He doesn't need to. He has the canal ahead of him and the evening sky and De Rust under his hands. That is enough. For Willem, that has always been enough. The canal towns, they appear and disappear. The canal passes through towns and villages, the way water passes through landscape, finding the existing low points, the existing paths of least resistance. The towns were built on the canal, or the canal was extended to the towns, or both. It is often impossible to say which came first. A village now, the canal running straight through its center, the houses on both sides facing the water, their rear gardens going back to the fields, the houses tall and narrow in the Dutch way, their brick facades the dark red of old Dutch brick, their windows large, their gables the stepped gables of the 17th century, the houses with their lights on. The evening has come fully now, each house a warm window, a life visible in silhouette, the shape of someone moving past a window, the glow of a lamp in a front room. ordinary evening of ordinary households, going about their ordinary end of day. A bicycle on the canal side path, a man cycling home, his bag on his back, his pace unhurried. He raises a hand as the boat passes. Willem raises his hand in return, the unspoken greeting of the canal. The man on the bicycle, the man at the tiller, two people who understand water and the world built on it. The village is past, the canal ahead again, the fields on both sides, the sky, the Dutch sky. Let me stay with it, because it is the thing about this landscape that stops people. Not the windmills, not the tulip fields, not the canal houses with their stepped gables. The sky, a flat country, has more sky than any other kind of country, without hills, without mountains, without the shapes of the land to interrupt it. The sky goes all the way down to the horizon on every side. 360 degrees of sky, the full dome of it present. The horizon, a thin line where the flat land meets the flat sky. And you could be forgiven for thinking there is nothing else, nothing but sky. And tonight the sky is doing this, the thing it does when the conditions are right, which is most evenings in summer if the clouds are there, and the light is coming from the right angle, the light under the clouds, the sun low in the west, its light traveling horizontally across the landscape, finding the undersides of the clouds and illuminating them from below. The clouds lit from beneath, orange and gold and pink, each one its own arrangement of color, the whole sky a painting in progress, the canal reflecting all of it. Below the boat, the sky, the reflection of the sky in the still water of the canal. Above the boat, the sky, the real sky, and in between the boat and you, and Willem at the tiller, moving very slowly through the middle of the sky. The evening smell, the canal in the evening, the smell of it, water first, fresh water, not salt, not sea. The fresh water of the polders and the canals, the water that was once the sea and was pumped out by the windmills and the steam pumps and the electric pumps of successive centuries, until it became land, until the seabed became the meadow, until the salt water became fresh. The reeds along the bank, the reeds in their autumn state, their smell, the green-brown smell of vegetation ending its season, not an unpleasant smell, the honest smell of a plant doing what plants do in October. The fields, the Dutch polder fields in the evening, the grass, slightly damp from the afternoon that was not quite dry, the soil below it, the heavy dark peat of reclaimed land. A rich smell, the smell of very fertile land. And from the boat, the cooking, ants cooking, finding its way up from the galley. Something with root vegetables, carrots, perhaps, and parsnips, and onions, definitely onions, the sweet caramelized smell of onions that have been cooking in butter for a long time, and coffee, a pot of it somewhere below, the smell of the coffee, and the cooking, and the canal water, and the reed beds together. The smell of a slow boat on a Dutch canal in the early evening. Nowhere else. This smell, the bridge, a bridge ahead. Lo, the Dutch bridges over the canals are low, because the canals were built for flat-bottomed barges with low profiles, and the bridges were built to clear them by the smallest margin that safety allowed. De Rust is low enough, just barely. Willem knows this. He has passed under this bridge before, on other evenings, in other seasons. He knows exactly how much clearance there is, and he approaches it without slowing, without worry. You duck slightly. Not necessary. The bridge is a hand's breadth above your head, but the instinct is there, and then you are through. The bridge above, then behind, the shadow of it for a moment, the brief dimming of the sky, the smell of the old stone of the bridge arch, and then through, and the canal ahead again, wide and still, the sky again, the reeds and the fields, and the flat horizon. Willem at the tiller, the engine, its low, patient sound. De Rust moving, always moving. Slowly, ANS comes up from the galley. She carries 2 mugs. Coffee, dark, strong Dutch coffee. She sets one beside Willem at the tiller, without a word. The practiced gesture of someone who knows exactly where to put a mug, so that the person at the tiller can reach it without taking their eyes from the canal. 42 years of this. She gives you yours. Then she sits at the stern, in the wooden chair that is hers. That has been hers since the day they first took De Rust out. The day she sat in this chair and looked at the canal and said, yes. She is 63. She reads in the evenings, always has a book with her on the boat. She opens it now, but she does not read immediately. She looks at the canal first, the way she always looks at the canal first. The water and the sky, and the reeds and the flat country, and then the book. She is a quiet person. Willem is a quiet person. They have found in each other the ease of 2 quiet people who do not require of each other anything that the other cannot naturally give. They have been sailing this canal together for 11 years. Before De Rust, other boats, other water, but always water, always together. The reeds along the canal bank. Phragmites australis, the common reed, growing in the wet margins of waterways throughout Europe and beyond. Here they are dense, a continuous wall of them along the bank, 3 meters tall in places, their seed heads nodding in whatever air moves over the water. The sound of the reeds. When there is wind, a dry, papery, collective sound. The reeds moving against each other, each stem finding its neighbors. Not tonight. The air is still, and the reeds are still. But the memory of the sound is in them. The reed beds are alive. Not just the plants, everything that lives in the reed beds. The reed warblers that nest in them, their nests woven between the stems, their songs, now finished for the season, filling these banks in summer. The marsh harriers that hunt over them, quartering the reed tops in long, low glides. The bittern, garage so perfect you could stand beside one and not see it. All of them in here, in the reeds, invisible now in the evening, but present, the reed beds, always more alive than they appear. The canal, always more inhabited than the still water suggests. The motion, you feel it now, the motion of the boat, not the dramatic motion of a vessel at sea, not even the gentle rocking of the moored boats on the river. Something else, more subtle, the motion of a flat-bottomed barge on a still canal, a very slight vibration, the engine, transferred through the hull to everything in and on the boat. A low, steady, barely perceptible trembling, not unpleasant, almost like a purr, and forward, the sense of forward movement, which is not motion in the usual sense. No rocking, no pitching, no rolling. Simply the slow translation of the boat through the water, the banks moving past, the sky above staying still, you moving through a still world, or the world moving past your stillness. It is hard to say which. On a slow boat, on a still canal, on a quiet evening, the distinction between moving and being moved dissolves. You are carried. That is the word. Not sailing, not motoring. Carried by the water, by the evening, by the flatness of this land and the immensity of this sky. Simply carried. The windmill on the bank ahead, a windmill, not a postcard windmill, not the white decorative mills of the tourist routes, a working mill, or a mill that worked. It does not work now. It sails still, its mechanism long since replaced by electric pumps. But it stands as it has stood for 200 years, its octagonal tower of dark wood. It sails four-armed and still. Its cap the wooden dome that in the working days would have turned to face the wind. It stands at the canal's edge, the miller's house attached to the base of it, small brick, its windows looking out over the canal. The mill, for 200 years it turned. Every day the wind blew strong enough. The sails turned, and the mechanism inside turned, and the pump worked, and the water was moved from the polder into the canal, and the land was kept dry. The land that you can see, the flat green polder fields, the land that is below sea level, the land that exists only because the water was, and is continuously removed from it. That land exists because of mills like this one, and the mills before it, and the pumps after it, the continuous, generations-long work of keeping the sea out, the windmill standing in the evening. It sails still, but still here, still part of the landscape it helped create. Growing still, the coffee is finished, the mug on the deck beside you, the engine still running, its patient low sound, the boat still moving. The sky has deepened. The performance is over. The gold and pink and orange have given way to the blue-gray of dusk. The clouds now dark shapes against a sky that is losing its color, but keeping its enormity. The first star, above the canal, above the flat horizon, the first star appearing, Willem sees it. He says nothing. He has seen the first star from this boat many times. Ans looks up from her book. She sees it too. They don't speak. The first star is enough. If thoughts are arriving, and they probably are, that is what minds do. They are not staying long. They come. You notice them. They go, like the canal banks moving past. Present for a moment, and then behind you. You don't need to hold any of them. Just let the boat carry you. Just let the water carry the boat. Just let the sky be above you. Peace lives on this water. It has always lived here, in the canal and the reeds and the flat green polders and the enormous sky. Tonight it is yours. Mooring, as the light fully fades, Willem begins to look for the mooring. He knows this stretch of canal. He knows where the bank is solid, where the reeds give way to the grass verge, where a boat can tie without damage. He has moored here before, more than once. He slows the engine. The boat slows. The bow wave fatting to nothing. To rust gliding, her own momentum carrying her the last few meters. The engine barely ticking over. The boat coming to rest against the bank, as gently as a hand being laid on a table. Anne steps off with the rope. She loops it around the iron post in the bank. This post has been here since before Willem was born. Its iron rusted, but solid. Its purpose unchanged. The boat is still, truly still. The engine off, the sound of it gone, and what remains, the canal, the reeds, the wind in the reeds, just beginning, the evening breeze that comes with the dark and flat country, and the stars coming out, one by one, and then many, below DCKS. You go below, down the steep companionway steps, 3 of them, their wood worn smooth. The cabin, low ceilinged, of course. A boat's interior is always compact, but warm. The residual warmth of the engine and of Anne's cooking still in the air. The small wood-burning stove in the corner, unlit, not needed yet. The evening not cold enough. The smell of the cooking. The stew finished now, in its pot, resting. The smell of it filling the small cabin. Root vegetables and stock and something herbal. The smell of a simple, honest meal made on a boat with care. The lamp, mounted on the wall, its glass shade warm amber. The light of it filling the cabin, the low ceiling reflecting it back down. The whole space warm and close and completely sufficient. A bench along one side, cushioned, the cushions old and slightly soft. The fabric a faded blue that was once a brighter blue. You sit on them. The boat, not moving, but the water just perceptible through the hull. The very faint movement of the canal, transmitted through the hull, through the cushion, into you. The water, even at rest, moving slightly, always slightly. The water, never entirely still. Supper, and serves the stew. In deep bowls, wide and deep, the bowls old, the glaze slightly crazed with age. 2 bowls, then 3. 1 for you. Bread, a dark rye bread, Dutch bread, dense and slightly sour, the kind that keeps for days on a boat without going stale. She slices it and puts it on the board between the bowls. The stew, the first spoonful, warm, deep. The root vegetables soft after hours of cooking. The stock rich. The whole thing the taste of a long, slow afternoon of cooking on a boat, on a canal. The taste of patience. You eat slowly, the three of you. The small sounds of the meal, the spoons, the bowls, the bread torn from the loaf. Willem eats with the appetite of someone who has been at a tiller for 3 hours in the fresh air, and eats with the satisfaction of someone whose cooking has done what it was meant to do. You eat with the gratitude of someone who has been given something made with care. Nobody talks much. There is nothing that needs saying. The canal is outside. The stars are above. The stew is warm. The bed in the bow. The sleeping cabin. Forward toward the bow, where the hull narrows. The bed fitted into the narrowing space. Its head at the very point of the bow. Its foot wider where the hull is wider. A V-berth, the traditional sleeping arrangement of a narrowing bow. The mattress in 2 pieces, fitted together at the foot, the narrow end at the head, and yet comfortable, remarkably comfortable. The pillow at the bow point, your head there, the sides of the hull curving away from your shoulders on both sides, the whole thing wrapping around you. The duvet, heavy, thick, a Dutch duvet. The Dutch understand duvets. The weight of it settling over you. The porthole above, small, just large enough to look through. Through it, the canal bank, the reeds just visible, the sky above the reeds with its stars, the sound of the water against the hull you are lying inside, the water on the other side of the wood, very close, very present, the slight movement of the canal water, the faint sound of it, the boat rocking, just slightly, just enough. The bow of a moored boat always moves a little, even on a still canal, even at a solid mooring. The water finds the hull and moves it very slightly, and the hull returns and is moved again. Rise and fall, rise and fall. Good night. You are doing so beautifully. The day is done. You came onto the canal tonight. You sat on the forward deck of De Rust as she moved through the polders. You watched the Dutch sky do what the Dutch sky does. You passed under the old bridge. You watched the windmill on the bank. You ate the stew in the warm cabin. You came to the bow berth. The canal received you, as canals do, without drama, without ceremony, simply carrying the water under the hull, the flat land on either side, the enormous sky above. Carry it with you on the hard days, the days when the world feels too fast and too small. Remember this water. Remember the sky that goes all the way to the horizon. Remember Willem at the tiller, raising his hand to the man on the bicycle. Remember the first star above the canal. Remember that somewhere right now, on a Dutch Dutch Canal. A boat is moored for the night. The reeds are moving in the evening breeze. The stars are reflecting in the still water. The water is carrying nothing and everything, as it always has. You know the way here now, but tonight you are already here. The duvet is warm. The bow is rocking you. The canal is outside. Sleep now, deeply, completely. You deserve every still, water-rocked, sky-filled, reed-lined, canal-quiet moment of this rest. Every single one. Good night. Sleep well. The canal through the night. The water at night. The canal at night. The mooring rope holding. The boat moving very slightly. The minimal movement of a well-moored vessel on a still canal. Just enough. Just the water doing what water does when there is a hull in it. The stars in the canal. The reflection of them. The same stars that are above, present below. The flat water of the canal, a perfect mirror now. The slight breeze of the evening having died. The surface as still as it ever gets. Two skis, one above, one below, and a rust between them, floating in both skis at once. The water holding all of it, the boat, the stars, the reeds, the weight of the night, without effort, without knowing, simply holding. What the Dutch did. The Dutch made this land. This is not a metaphor. The land you passed through today, the flat green polders, the land below sea level, the land that the water would take back tomorrow if the pump stopped. This land was made by human hands, human ingenuity, human stubbornness applied over 1,000 years to the problem of a country that the sea wanted back. The first polders were drained in the 10th century, windmills from the 14th century. Thousands of them, the landscape crowded with turning sails, each one pumping water from the low land into the canals that carried it to the sea. Steam pumps in the 19th century, replacing the windmills one by one. Electric pumps now, continuous, never stopping, 24 hours a day, every day. The pumps moving the water that would otherwise move back. The Dutch live on borrowed land. They know this. They have always known this. It has not made them afraid. It has made them engineers. The canals are not just for transport. They are the drainage system, the circulatory system, the proof that the arrangement works. The water that was the sea, now the canal, now carrying a boat called to rust through the evening. Willem sleeping. Willem is asleep. He goes to sleep easily. The way people who work physically go to sleep easily. The body having been genuinely used. The mind having been given the particular rest that comes from steering a boat for 3 hours with your hands and your eyes, and the low-grade attention that canal navigation requires. Not deep thought, not problem-solving, simply attending to the water ahead, to the bank on either side, to the bridge coming, to the wind on the water. This quality of attention, present, specific, completely practical. is one of the most restful things a mind can do. Willem knows this. He has known it for 66 years. On the water, his mind is quiet, not empty attending, which is different from quiet in the ordinary sense. The attending is the quiet. He is asleep now. The attending given over to the night. The canal doing what canals do, without anyone watching. The reed warblers. The reed warblers are gone. They left weeks ago, the migration south. The same migration that their kind has been making since long before there were canals to nest beside. The reed beds in winter are quiet. The nest sites are empty. The reeds themselves are still there, but the warblers are somewhere in Africa, in the warmth. But in the spring, they will return to this canal, to these reed beds, to the same stretch of bank where they nested last year and the year before. The reed warbler returns to the same territory each spring. The same reed bed, the same few square meters of canal bank. The male arrives first, a week or two before the female, and establishes his territory with song. His song is extraordinary, a rapid, churring, repetitive song that goes on for minutes at a time. The male weaving phrases together, mixing his own calls with imitations of other birds. The whole song a demonstration of energy and health, and the suitability of this particular reed bed as a nesting site. The reed bed is empty now, but in the spring, the song and the nest, woven between the reed stems, deep in the reed bed, the most ingeniously made nest in the Dutch countryside. Woven grass, lined with down, attached to 3 or 4 reed stems that flex when the wind moves the reeds, so that the nest moves with them rather than tearing free. The engineering of birds, no less remarkable than the engineering of the Dutch, both making their home on the water, both finding their way. The flat land at night. Flat land at night is different from hilly land at night. In a valley in the hills, the dark is contained. The hills on each side hold it. The sky is a smaller thing, framed by the ridges. Here the dark is enormous, the flat land giving the dark the same room that it gives the sky. The horizon in every direction, just where it always is, at the bottom of the sky, far away, unremarkable. And between you and the horizon, flat, dark, the fields invisible now, the reeds a darker shape against the dark sky, the canal a strip of reflected stars running through the middle of all of it. You could believe you were at sea. The feeling of it, the openness, the exposure, the sense of being a small point in a very large dark space, is the feeling of being at sea in calm weather. The Dutch live with this. They have always lived with it. The openness, the sky, the water everywhere, above and below, and in between. They built their houses tall and narrow, so that the neighbors were close. They built their cities dense, so that the people were near. They built their canals, so that no one was ever far from the water, and far from anyone. The morning on the canal at dawn, the mist first, The flat land at night cools quickly. No hills to hold the day's warmth. The heat radiating straight up into the sky, the land cooling toward the dew point. And when the land cools below the dew point, the mist forms, rising from the canal surface, from the wet fields, from everywhere the moisture is. The mist of a Dutch morning, thick white, the canal invisible in it, the reeds disappearing into white, the opposite bank gone, the sky somewhere above the white, and the sound of the morning in the mist. A coot, its sharp call from somewhere in the reeds, invisible. A heron, the croak of it taking flight, the wing beats heavy, the shape of it disappearing into the white, and then the light, finding the top of the mist first. The mist glowing before the sun is above the horizon. A warm glow, amber and diffuse, the mist lit from within, and then the sun, above the flat horizon to the east, the mist beginning to thin, the canal appearing, first as a darker line in the white, then as water, then as the reflection of the warming sky, to rust in the mist, her hull dark green and solid, her mooring rope still holding, the rope doing its faithful, patient, overnight work, still here, still holding, but you are asleep, long asleep, in the bow berth, the duvet warm, the hull rocking you very gently, the canal outside the porthole, still there, still moving, still carrying everything it carries in the patient way of water that has been doing this for a very long time. And you will sleep a little longer yet. The morning is patient. The canal is patient. The rust is patient. They will all be there when you wake. The mooring rope is holding. The rust is still, or very nearly still. The canal is moving very slightly, always very slightly. The reeds are in the dark. The stars are in the water. Willem is sleeping. Ans is sleeping. The flat land is dark. The sky is enormous above it. The mist will come before dawn. The heron will take flight. The coot will call. The sun will find the top of the mist. But for now, the dark, the still water, the stars, and you sleeping, deeply, completely, peacefully, in the bow of rust, under the Dutch sky, on the canal that was once the sea, in the flat land that was made by hands, carried by the water, held by the night. This is exactly where you should be. This is exactly what you deserve. Every still, water-rocked, sky-filled, reed-lined, canal-quiet moment. Every single one. You are safe. You are held. You are at peace. Good night, dear friend. Sleep well. Sleep deeply. Good night, and